Welcome back to the channel. I picked up a Stars and Stripes Rally Grifter, frame and forks only. What you see there is what I picked up. Frame, forks, crank, chainring, that's it. And seat clamp. I've got the bearings, I've got a headset, I've got a couple of wheels for it. Let's rebuild a Stars and Stripes Rally Grifter, get it on its feet, tyres and tubes, pedals, and bring some life back to it. And that'll be Grifter number 4, I think. Unless I've got one hidden up somewhere. Might have one hidden up. Don't know. We'll assess it when it's built up. I've got a seat for it, but that's a Mark 1 seat on the Mark 1 Grifter. Not sure about that. I've got bars as well. They've arrived. They were dirt cheap. At the minute, the whole lot owes me the price of an Indian takeaway. That's it. Let's get it built up and see where we go with it. Let's do this. So there it is, Stars and Stripes. Slight chipped chain guard there. It needs a really good clean. Headset, original headset, bearings in there, all the cups. The forks are nice and straight, good fork thimbles, good fork thread. It needs a bit of a wipe down around that area there. No gouges or gauges in the fork thread. All good to fit. Ready to go. Bit of fading along the decal there, along the top. Seems to be all original paint. Nice straight tubes, pedals, crank arm. All needs a really good clean. And obviously, cleaning anything brings its value back. Thankfully, the rear brake cable is intact and in the frame, because there's a knack to getting these through. I think brake cleaner pipes or washing line, don't quote me. Rear cable itself is a bit buggered, but overall straight frame. I'm gonna put you in a tripod and get it built up. That's the other pedal in not bad condition. Again, needs a bit of a clean up, but yeah, nothing seized on that one. Nice, strong, usable pedal. Let's get on with it. Let's go. So that's the headset cups in. Obviously this is normal to some people, but I know someone watching this will actually learn from this, because I always learn from my own work and mistakes. I very rarely Google how to fit something or how to do that. Cups in. You can't do nothing with the forks in terms of fitment until you get that headset cup in. Now there's one is shorter than the other. I think I've done it right. But so the bigger one goes on the bottom, and the top one, the thinner one, goes on top. Rubber mallet, grease up all this. I've used Park Tool bearing grease. Obviously, other bearing grease is available. Like a green, slimy sort of colour. You can see it there, all right? And put that around there. Bearings, grease around there. For the forks, you'll need the forks, obviously, and this cup here. That slides down into there. This section here facing upwards. Pack this with bearings and this outer ring with bearings. Slide the forks into the tube, and then you attach the headset and locking nut. 3-piece. So 1, 2, and then the lamp bracket acts as a third. That down first, that second, and that third. To many people, this is plain sailing. This is like making scrambled eggs, for example. But to some people, because we all learn somewhere, this will be useful. Let's again put you in a cradle and get all this fitted and get these forks into that frame with fresh bearings and grease. Yeah, don't be afraid to use plenty of grease. I'm using gloves because that grease absolutely stinks, and also you can get a better grip on the bearings if you're using gloves. So pack them all round there, and then you'll have enough left over for the top part. I don't know what size they are. I don't know exactly how you're meant to use. I just pack them in and go from there. But someone in the comments will put how many bearings you need to use, and also if you go on any Facebook page and just ask how many bearings do I need, someone will tell you. Don't worry if it's messy, just as long as there's plenty of grease in there. No doubt I'm doing it wrong, but in my opinion, if it holds in place and the forks turn nice, and you know consciously that you've put new bearings in, then I'm happy with that. You don't need to let it dry. I don't believe you need to let it dry. I could be wrong again. I don't plan to know everything. So that's what you want to see. Nice bearings. If you can see that all right, you can, can't you? That's great. All bearings packed in. Go around it again, visually. Say to yourself, there's any spaces. Once the forks are in, they'll form their own. They'll sit nicely together. They'll find a happy place to sit amongst themselves. I don't know how many I put in so far, but you can see that it's pretty well compacted in. A few little gaps. Just go around it again. You can see it's pretty good. And then this goes into that frame, which is just off camera. I'll try and capture as much as I can, all right? So, there we're in. I've used a little bench here and used an old plastic tub to raise the frame up, so you get a nice level sitting on the forks. Bearings are in that bottom bit. Obviously not fastened. When you add the headset and push the weight down, then that holds this in place. Don't worry about if they're messy. You can wipe off any excess grease, and then the same with the top bit. So all around there. Again, gloves. You can use a brush, you can use a paintbrush, you can use one of those little wooden sticks you get from a coffee outlet, the takeaway machines. Anything that you think is right. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Well, there's plenty of wrong ways. Just ask me. But plenty of grease, and then you repeat the process with the bearings. Down here. There's probably not enough there, but that's fine. That's fine. As long as there's enough in there for it to sit, and then we'll cut back in. I'll just do a couple here for you. So there's one there, look, two there. That's how they sit. in that little groove. Then you just go round and do the whole lot. And I'll cut back in. Once that's done, then I'll put these in and then tighten it up, get the bars out and crack on. All right, bearings in, plenty of grease. I had a bit of trouble getting this locking nut in on. I thought to myself, it's not going to fit. Oh, the thread's knackered, but just go around it again with a cloth around these top threads here. Just go round it again. And once it's taken that first couple of bits there, then it'll just slide and go straight on. Then you can see the bearings are nice and compacted in here. You can hear them settling down and forming their own pattern. Forks nice and straight. Well, they will be, obviously. That's like that. Lovely old job. And then we put the heron bracket or the badge lamp holder on, and then your locking nut. Again, just feel that. Give us a little wipe inside. This is obvious to some folk, but to others, like I said, this might be really useful. So share the content to those people who want to build up, and obviously with a spanner, just tighten that down. You need 2 hands to do this, but you get what I'm saying, and that tightens down into there. And like that, done. Lovely. As you've seen, all nice new grease, bearings cleaned, reassembled, packed back in, no play in the forks, nice and straight. We can now get those bars unwrapped that are in there and assess it further. Let's crack on. So you would have seen there in a time lapse, bars have arrived. Mark II bars, so Mark I bars about 1 inch wider at either end from left to right. Mark II bars, stem bolt, expansion bolt, that's saved me a lot of time trying to find one of them. Twist grips, proper memories these are, these bikes. If you grew up in the 80s and you had grifters, you'll remember getting your hands like just ripped to pieces on these little twist grips. Nice bit of memory on them. Foam pad, nice and straight, nice and clean, good shine. The top bit, again, nice and straight, no massive chunks missing until you reach that section there, which I would suggest the little lad or little girl who had this growing up was probably right-handed. So they sat on the precincts, on their bikes, and just done this for days and weeks upon end, because that's what we did, didn't we? We sat there. We used to pick the ends off, didn't we? The grips like that. We used to pick the ends off. Those of you who are lucky enough to have a Rally Super Burner, gold ones, used to pick the gold film off, didn't we? Yeah, we done it all. Anyway, bit of grease on that tube there. Into here. And tighten up that bolt. And that bolt assesses how you want them to sit. Yeah, let's do this. That's it. So I loosened that bolt here, so you can allow that stem anode bear to come down like that. Like that sort of thing. And then you tighten that bolt up and that does the expansion nut. And then the expansion nut is sitting roughly about there, and then this, by tightening up this bolt, that the nut expands the width of the bars, and that's how an expansion nut works. Very nice. Right, let's stop there a minute. I'll get those wheels sorted out. Get the wheels and that kind of thing. So whilst the bike's on the table, I'll quickly put the pedal in again. Bit of grease on there, and then put that in. That goes that way, doesn't it? That goes clockwise. Then obviously tighten it up, and again, nice result, pedals in. And that's the pedal on. Like I said, a bit of grease and lovely old job. Right, like I said, let's get those wheels sorted out. So there it is, a pile of tyres and tubes. I've got super grips for the 2 Mark 1 grifters. That one and the other one, not double bridge, if you can remember back that far. So I'm keeping them for this. I've got decent wheels, so I'm keeping for 2 grifters. So I'm using this sort of like cheap frame set as like a wrap build sort of thing. So I'm using 2 grifter tyres. One of them was kindly donated by Ginger Phil. Thank you very much indeed for that. He came around the other day and he said to me, Mike, do you want this old tyre? I said, yes, please. So yeah, thank you for that, Ginger Phil. So 2 tyres for a grifter. Obviously 2 old school original inner tubes, both hold air. But these wheels here, not the best. Don't pretend to be the best. They will probably come up a bit better in areas I've tried to in the past to get them nicer. You can see there. But for what I need it for, to get on its wheels and to assess my plans with that, this wheel is no good. Just noticed that. What a pain. Yeah. Bad. Bad. Right, let's pause there for a minute and I'll cut back in. Hang on. We'll cut back in now. Got this one here. That was spray painted at some point. So I've tried acid bath on it, but that spray paint hasn't come out. So it might need some paint remover. But again, decent wheel. Well, not again. It is a decent wheel in terms of no bits missing around the rim. Get some tyres on that. And then we can set sail, in theory, and crack on. Power of editing. I'll see you when the tyres are on. Alright, tyres on and tubes. Tubes on tyres. Odd socks as always. Tubes on wheels. Lovely old job. Right, front wheel, obviously back wheel. Thankfully the chain is still intact. That can be reused. No need to mess about taking that off. Pedals on. Gonna get the wheels on. Right, get wheels on. Then get it outside in the garden. Give it a good airing. Go over it with a cloth. And then we'll do the outro and assess it and then that kind of thing. And that's why you do not need to spend 300 quid, £400 on a complete grifter. Put the work in, put the hours in. If it takes you 2 hours a night sitting there, your partner's watching TV, you go on eBay, Marketplace, forums, look for a bare frame. You can build one up for next to nothing. Grifter Mark II, Stars and Stripes, It needs a spoke protector in that back wheel, admittedly, it does. I've got a mud guard coming because they were different from the normal mud guards. They had little stars and stripes on the sleeve. Let's have a look around it. What do you reckon? In the comments, what do you think? It owes me the price of a decent Indian takeaway with a couple of cans on top. Like I said, I've got a mud guard coming for the front, a stars and stripes mud guard. I bought two. I don't need two, so I'll sell one on, which means that one I purchased will only be about £5. Mud guard, rear mud guard it needs rear and front brakes. Easy to find. If you put in this another 100 quid maximum, maybe even 80, you'll get all the bits you need if you look hard enough. And it's a cracking Survivor. They talk about original bikes or unrestored bikes or another one lost, yeah. The frame, I see, when they talk about original bikes, I see it means the original paint. The original frame has been saved. In my ownership, that frame will not get painted, repaired, nothing will happen to it. You can repair wheels, you can clean them up, can't you? You can fix this, fix that, you can source missing parts, but in my opinion, the bike still is original. And I think that's a cracking little bike. Stars and Stripes Mark II. Obviously, the wheels aren't great. We know all this, yeah. But not sure what to do with it. Not sure what to do with it. Not sure. Again, in the comments, what do you guys reckon? We need mud guard, which is coming in the post. We need, obviously, brakes. Wheels to do the clean up. Once I've got that back spoke protector on there, and that red line tyre's gone, maybe source another one from the garage that's not so red, not too sure. The seat is from that other Mark 1. That still fascinates me, this seat, really does. Yeah, cracking little project. They call it a rolling resto. I'll be happy now to sell that. I could put that on marketplace now for whatever I think it's worth. Conservative, come and get me sort of price, and I think decent sort of margin in that. I can make out of that, as it sits now, maybe 40 quid. Nice little resto. Another one saved. Nearly. Plenty coming up on the channel. Plenty of little projects. All rally related. The Boxers, the Grifters, the Commandos, RSW burners. I try and get them all in and put content onto all of them. I've not done a Grifter. Oh, sorry, I've not done a Commando or a Striker or anything like that at all. Just mainly Grifters, burners, and the old rally chopper. That seat post for the chrome burner, not chrome burner, that other BMX I picked up, the Hawk Scorcher. I'm dropping that off later on at a chap local to me. He's got a hammer, a thingy-majig hammer drill, I don't know what you call it. It takes a seat post out. Once that seat post is out, that's going to get rebuilt and moved on. Free up some space. But yeah, at the minute, I'm happy with Grifter. If you're new to the channel, do me a massive favour, hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment, and I'll see you in a couple of days when we're back on probably the Silver Chopper, I imagine, or whatever else comes my way in the meantime. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.